think church leaders are some of the loneliest and most tired people I know. The demands of ministry, and sometimes it's both ways. Sometimes it's they themselves afraid of sharing their vulnerabilities for fear of being rejected. But sometimes it's the churches themselves who don't want them to be having problems. I mean, if the leader has problems, then the regular guys will be even worse or what. So sometimes it's one way or the other. They are not allowed to be human. And the irony is that the more successful they are, number one, there'll be a lot more invitations to minister. They'll be even more tired and less energy for relationships. And if you're a super anointed leader, nobody's going to come and ask you, have you done your quiet time? Nobody's going to ask you that you're above this kind of things, which is fertile ground for burnout. So often it's like a sinkhole on top. It looks like everything is okay. Then something happens. Then you fall into sins of money, sex, and power, or some combination. So I've seen the debris of many such lives. Started well, acted very powerfully, working for God, but because they were lonely, it didn't end well. I don't know what was in your experience.
I think now I'm teaching in the seminary, and of course many of these young seminarians come and they're idealistic, and there's a sense of God's calling and all that. And then of course sometimes you go to a pastor's prayer meeting, and then here are people who have just gone through some of the rough and tumble of ministry, and then you notice that there is a change, there's a shift, and sometimes because it's quite burdensome. I mean, just imagine you're carrying a lot of other people's burdens, so you might wonder who carries the pastor's burden.
That's right.
And it's hard, and who can you share with? And the pastors would need a safe space.
Yep.
And interestingly, I think for a lot of pastors, they would recall that it was in the seminary days, and which I do.
Fellow students.
Those fellow students that was probably one of the most safest place that they could share.
Yeah.
A bit similar with our group that we had after I came up, after I started BLC and all that. So just imagine you're carrying all this, and who would really listen and not judge?
That's right.
Because then we think, how can you think like that, Pastor?
Yeah.
You cannot be angry. Pastor can be angry on
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
There's these expectations of what a pastor should be like, and in some church cultures, maybe that suddenly becomes a greater weight on them. And sometimes after a while, it's really heavy, you get crushed.
Yeah, maybe churches were more triumphalistic. If you have God's power, you shouldn't have problems. And to share about problems is somehow to say that God is not enough. And so there's pressure to be always on top, always rejoicing. And sometimes it's not just your own problems, but members will share with you, and of course they expect confidentiality.
Yeah.
So you carry the burdens of many people, but you don't know who to bring these burdens to. So I treasure the kind of spiritual friendship group that co-workers can have, because in that place, we're not Reverend this or Doctor this, we are just brothers. And we use our own names, and no titles, no funny clothes or whatever. Just lang niya, just humans and brothers or sisters as a ladies group, and we can share our humanity, our joys, our fears, our failures, and be a place where we encounter Christ. And we all need that. Every worker needs that.
Yeah.